This is a video in a playlist. This is the Groundhog Day Animals of the Bible playlist. This is on Camel. Now, Camel's in there like 50 sometimes, so it's going to be a minute. But I didn't see one camel at the birth of Christ. Just saying. Okay, there's only New Testament camels are Matthew 23:24, ye blind guides, which strain at a gnat and swallow a camel. Matthew 19:24, I say unto you, it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of God. On Matthew 3:4, the same John had a raiment of camel's hair and a leather girdle around his loins. His meat was locusts and wild honey. And then camel's furniture is also in there. But how about Zechariah 14:15? So shall be the plague of the horse and of the mule and of the camel and of the ass and of all the beasts that shall be in these tents as this plague. Zechariah 14:15. Ezekiel 25:5, I will make Rabbah a stable for camels, and the Ammonites a couching place for flocks, and ye shall know that I am the Lord. Jeremiah 49:32, their camels shall be a booty, and the multitude of their cattle a spoil. I will scatter into all the winds them that are in the utmost corners, and I will bring their calamity from all sides thereof, saith the Lord. Jeremiah 49, their tents and their flocks shall they take away. They shall take to themselves their curtains and all their vessels and their camels, and they shall cry unto them. Fears on every side. Camels with the curtains, what do you know? How about Isaiah 60, the multitude of camels shall cover thee, the dromedaries of Midian and Ephah. All they from Sheba shall come, and shall bring gold and incense, and they shall show forth the praises of the Lord. That was Isaiah 60, line 6. Isaiah 36 says, the burden of the beasts of the south into the land of trouble and anguish, from whence come the young and the old lion, the viper and the fiery flying serpent. They will carry their riches upon the shoulders of young asses, and their treasuries upon the bunches of camels, to a people that shall not profit them. Isaiah 21:7, he saw a chariot with a couple of the horsemen, and the chariot of asses, and a chariot of camels, and he hearkened diligently with much heed. Job 42:12, the Lord blessed the latter end of Job more than the beginning, for he had 14,000 sheep and 6,000 camels, 1,000 yoke of oxen. Well, the beginning of Job 1 is, while he was yet speaking, there came another and said to him that the Chaldeans made out 3 bands, and they fell on the camels and carried them away, slain the servant with the edge of the sword, and I only am escaped, alone to tell. Okay, in the beginning of Job 1:3, Job had 3,000 camels, and then at the end he ended up with 6,000. Okay, so Esther 8, he wrote in the king Ahasuerus' name and sealed it with the king's ring, and sent letters by post on horseback, on riders, on mules and camels, young dromedaries, and so that the posts that rode upon the mules and the camels went out, being hastened and pressed on by the king's commandment, and the decree was given at Shushan Palace. Nehemiah 7, line 69, just says camels, 430 and 5. Ezra 2:67, camels, 430 and 5. Not reading the whole story. 2 Chronicles 14, they smote also the tents of cattle, carried away the sheep and camels in abundance. 2 Chronicles 9:1, when the Queen of Sheba heard the fame of Solomon, she came to prove Solomon with a hard question to Jerusalem with a very great company and camels. She bare spices and gold in abundance, precious stones. Over the camels was Obil, the Ishmaelite. That says 1 Chronicles 27:30. Ishmaelite over the camels. Okay, how about 1 Chronicles 12:40? They were nigh them, even unto Issachar and Zebulim and Natalia. Brought asses and camels, mules, oxen. There's joy, some kind of party. How about they took away their camels, 50,000. That story is in 1 Chronicles 5:21. Not reading the whole thing. Hazael went out to meet him, took a present, even of every good thing of Damascus, 40 camels burdened, and came and stood before him. Thy son Ben-Hadad, king of Syria, sent me to thee. Shall I recover of my disease? He wanted to know. That's 2 Kings 8:9. 1 Kings 10 is the same as Sheba in the Chronicles. 1 Samuel 30 says, David smote them from twilight until the evening of the next day, and there escaped not a man of them, except for 400 young men which rode upon camels and fled. One Samuel 15, go and smite Amalek, utterly destroy him and all that they have, spare them not, slay man, woman, infant, suckling, sheep, camel, ox, and ass. Don't know what that fight was about. How about Judges 8:26? The weight of the gold earrings that he requested with 1,700 shekels of gold, besides the ornaments and collars, purple raiment that was on the kings of Midian, and besides the chains that were around their camels' necks. Ornaments around the camels' necks also on Judges 8:21. Gideon arose and slew Zebah and Zalmunna and took away the ornaments that were on their necks, camels' necks. Camels were without number. That's Judges 7:24. The Midianites and the Amalekites and all the children of the east, they lay along in the valley like grasshoppers for the multitude. Camels without number as the sand by the seaside. Judges 6:5 says the same thing pretty much. They came out as grasshoppers for both they and their camels without numbered, and they entered into the land to destroy it. Now, Deuteronomy, the rest of it looks like it's the law. Deuteronomy 14:7, nevertheless, these ye shall not eat. Them that chew the cud, or them that divide the cloven hoof, like the camel, and the hare and the coney, for they chew the cud, but divideth not the hoof. Therefore they are unclean to you. Leviticus 11:4 says the same thing. The camel, because he cheweth the cud, and divideth not the hoof, unclean to you. Exodus 9, behold, the hand of the Lord is upon thy cattle, which is in the field, on the horses, asses, and the camels, oxen, and the sheep. There shall be a very grievous murrain. Murrain. What does that even mean? It's is a archaic term for a fatally high infectious disease. Plague primarily among livestock. Did you know that said that? This is probably King James that I'm reading too. How about, okay, that was Exodus 9:3, the last word. Genesis 37:25, Ishmaelites came from Gilead with their camels, bearing spicery and balm. and myrrh. They were going to carry it down to Egypt. Genesis 32, Jacob was greatly afraid, distressed. He divided the people that was with him, the flocks, herds, camels, into 2 bands. There's camel's furniture right there. Genesis 31, Rachel taken the images of her father. She put them in the camel's furniture and sat on them. Jacob rose up and put his son and wives on camels. That's Genesis 31:17. Rebecca, back in Genesis 24:64, she lifted up her eyes and she saw Isaac. She lighted off the camel. Camels were coming. Genesis 24:6, when Isaac went out to mediate at the field of eventide. Rebecca arose and her damsels, and they rode on the camels. Genesis 24:61. Genesis 24, I guess, is the whole story where they went. There's camels in almost every line of Genesis 24, it looks like. Because he took 10 camels of the camels of his master and departed, for all the goods to his master were in his hand. And he arose and he went to Mesopotamia, the city of Nahor. He made his camels to kneel down without the city by a well of water at the time of the evening, even the time when the women come out to draw water. And it came to pass that the damsel to whom I shall say, let thy pitcher, I pray thee, that I may drink, and she shall say, I will give thy camels drink also. Let the same be she, that thou hast appointed for thy servant Isaac. And thereby I shall know that thou hast shown kindness unto thy master. And then the very first one was Genesis 12. He entreated Abram well for her sake, probably Sarah, and he had sheep and oxen, asses, men servants, maid servants, she asses, and camels.